So hey there guys, Erin here again. It's now 2018 and this is going to be my first video for 2018 and I'm excited. It's going to be a what I eat in a day video because I enjoy filming these and I feel like they give a better glance of what it is I'm doing on my diet. And since it is now 2018, I have thought about doing things to revamp my diet this year and just trying to be a little bit more varied in what I'm doing so that way I'm not getting stagnant in kind of my health progress, and I'm also trying different things just to see how my body reacts to them. So this morning for my coffee, I am just going to be brewing up some regular coffee beans and not adding in my typical collagen, MCT oil, coconut oil. I'm gonna try this for a couple weeks and see how I feel. So I will check in with you guys later on in the next few weeks. When I did it last time, when I was just doing kind of more strict intermittent fasting, I was hungry, I was pretty cranky, and I felt like my moods had dropped. I thought I'd go ahead and just try it again. I think it's always important to not just do one experience of something and then have that set, you know, your opinion on it. You know, there could have been other factors at that time that played a role in why I was feeling that way. And so I want to try it again. That is what I'm doing now. I have also worked out and my hair is wet. That's why it's kind of crazy. I haven't combed it or done anything. I basically just got out of the shower and put a little bit of makeup on and then came down here to have my morning coffee. It's about 9:45 in the morning. I did sleep in, and so I'm just gonna have black coffee and maybe put some cream in it. We'll see what I do, but for the most part, it's going to be a pretty mellow day, probably a 2-meal day, and I will show you both of those meals. So it is a little while later and I am now enjoying my minerals in a cup, my vitamins and minerals in a cup. This Ula Loa brand is the first brand that I've been able to find that has a powdered form version of a vitamin, a daily vitamin, that doesn't have a lot of sugar. And so this is a question that you guys ask me all the time is there any good sugar-free kind of, you know, vitamin mixes? And this one is the best one that I've found. There is 1 gram of sugar, so 1 total carb per package, but it is pretty much 100% of your daily needs for almost all essential vitamins and minerals, as well as different amino acids. This also has like CoQ10 in it. It has a little bit of your daily electrolyte needs, but not all the way. So you need to make sure that you're getting some of your electrolytes through your nutrients and through your food. So that is something I'm still going to be doing. Got tested for what my minerals were at, and I was low on a few, and so it's always my goal to make sure that I am, you know, getting all my vitamins and nutrients in there and making sure that my diet is as complete as possible, so that way I am maintaining my health and staying healthy as I go through this entire process. I'm gonna drink this up, finish this, and then I'm going to make my lunch. My lunch today is going to be salmon cakes and then a salad. I will probably be making a wasabi mayo dressing because I like wasabi with salmon, and I also just spent a good bit of money on this dry wasabi powder in order to make it for that salmon bowl video or that sushi bowl video, and so I'm going to use it in as many creative ways as possible. So for this recipe, I'm making 2 servings, and so if you only want to make 1 serving, just do everything I'm doing, cut in half. So I'm starting with 2 eggs, and I'm going to fully whisk them so that way the yolks and whites are fully combined. You want that in order to kind of create a good batter, and it's easier to do prior to adding in your fish. So I'm using salmon, but you could use tuna, and I'm just using 2 cans for this 2-person serving, and then just draining out the water and then fully mixing and breaking them into that yolk mixture. I'm going to add in my seasonings, and so for this one I'm adding in a dash of pepper, a dash of dill weed, a dash of salt, a dash of garlic powder, and then another dash of onion powder, and then just a little dash of mustard. and then mixing that all together so that way all of the seasonings are fully, across the mixture. Now, instead of using breadcrumbs, I'm going to be using almond flour. This is how we're going to make it keto friendly or low carb friendly. I'm starting off with 4 level tablespoons of the almond flour, and then I'm going to mix that in and see if I get the consistency that I want. With, canned fish, there can be excess water in there, and then with using eggs, they can vary in size, and so there just might be a little bit more liquid. So start off with 4 tablespoons and then add in more tablespoons until you get a very kind of compactable batter. So I ended up having to add in an additional 2 tablespoons. So I divided the patties out in 4 equal patty sizes. So for me, that is about a palm size patty. Keep in mind that I'm 5'2", and so I've got smaller hands, and so you'll just want to adjust your patty size depending on what kind of hands you have. So once I've got my 4, I put it in a frying pan with about 3 tablespoons of avocado oil. The oil was heated prior to the patties going in, and I had the stovetop on a medium heat, and so it took a little while for it to fully heat up, but you want to make sure your oil is hot so that way the outsides fully crisp. And so after 3 minutes, I was able to flip them, and then I flipped them again after 2 minutes, and then again. So in total, 3 minutes for the first flip and then 2 minutes for the other flips. So that way you get the insides, that egg in there, fully cooked. So I wanted to go ahead and make my mayo sauce, and so I've got 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise, a slightly under a tablespoon of the wasabi, and then I added in a tablespoon of water, some pepper, some salt, some onion powder, and then a little bit of mustard as well, and then some of that dill again. Typically, if I make a wasabi mayo, I won't add the dill in, but since there's dill in the salmon cakes, I just kind of went ahead with adding it in there so that way that flavor was a little bit more prevalent. So when the salmon cakes were completely done, they were crispy. You want them to be a deep golden brown on the outside. That's kind of how you know they're done. You don't want to burn them. And then I added about a teaspoon of the wasabi mayo to each of the cakes, so that way both my husband's plate and my plate had enough of the mayo. And then I paired this with a salad and then topped it off with an avocado oil based dressing. I do try to avoid soybean oil and vegetable oils, and so I just find avocado oil to be a great alternative to that. This is a Caesar flavored dressing, and so overall this meal came in at about 9.5 total net carbs. And yeah, just a really easy, quick lunch. Doesn't take too long to make and has a lot of flavor. I hope the battery doesn't die on me before I'm done talking because I'm gonna try to rush through this. The last goal that I have for 2018 is this channel and what I want to do with it. So I am intending to do another video each week. So it's going to be a micronutrient Monday where I'm gonna go over a micronutrient that you need in order to support your body, what that micronutrient does for you, why you need it, how you can get it in, and what's the best source on keto for getting it in. So that will start next Monday. Wednesdays are still going to be what I eat in a day Wednesdays, and then the weekends are still going to be, a keto talk, a keto guide, maybe a keto vlog, but something different, maybe a recipe video, who knows, just different rotation for what I do on the weekends, just so I can feel a little bit more creative in what I'm doing. I do also intend to do more live streaming and live chit chats. I probably won't do one again for a few weeks just because I'm coming down from being on that whole keto miss high and trying to get that many videos out. There were a couple of videos that I missed at the end, but I still have them. I'm just going to edit them and put them into my regular video rotation. I just didn't have enough time to edit them before the end of this month, and it just felt very rushed, and I didn't want to upload like 10 videos in one day or 3 or 4 videos in one day, so I'll just spread them out across the next few weeks. Like I said, my goal is to do more videos. I'm also finalizing a website. I thought I would have it done by Christmas, but with doing Keto Miss and actually having to go places and travel for Christmas, it was very impossible to get all the final details done. I am working on like branding and kind of logos and really just, it's stupid stuff to talk about, but it is nitpicky things that I want to make sure look good and are finalized before making that website live to you guys. So that is coming, and that will include, you know, written down recipes that I don't necessarily make videos about, but just other recipes, articles that I want to share, and then articles that I want to write myself about keto, or just kind of blog posts, just taking kind of what I do on video into a website. So that is the goal for this kind of first quarter of the year. Towards the end of the year, I also have another project that I'm working on that I'm really excited about, but I will make an announcement about that when it's more finalized and getting closer to being done. It's something that a lot of you have asked me to do, and so I am doing it. I just need to make sure that I have the right equipment and that I've got all the details finalized, so that way it's a good product that I'm putting out. It is getting late right now and I need to start making dinner, so I'm making a keto shrimp and grits kind of feel. So I hope you guys enjoy that. So I don't drink wine every night, but I wanted to show you guys this wine bottle because this brand 19 Crimes, they have different characters on their wines and they come alive with their app that they have. And this woman, I swear she's my keto spirit animal with what she says in this little video.
But the judge showed me none. I was sentenced to 7 years, transported for stealing bacon.
Me too!
So each of these 19 Crimes bottles say different things, and they're all crimes that people were charged for in Britain and then transported to Australia to spend out the remainder of their lives. So I just think it's so keto to be, you know, charged for stealing some bacon. I mean, stealing's bad, but it's just kind of funny to me that of all the things to steal, she just decided to steal some bacon. So I don't drink often, but when I do, I typically will drink a dry white or red wine because those are the most keto friendly. So while I was cooking, I was enjoying a little bit of that wine. So I've got 4 ounces of a goat's Gouda cheese in this bowl. You could use cheddar cheese, you could use a cow's Gouda cheese, whatever cheese you prefer that easily melts will work with this recipe. So I've got 7 ounces of shrimp in this bowl, and that's gonna make out about a 3.5 ounce serving of shrimp per plate. And I'm just coating the shrimp with different seasonings. So I've got some garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper, and cayenne pepper powder that's going onto that shrimp. In a large frying pan, I put down about 3 tablespoons of olive oil, allowed that to kind of heat up, and then put in some rice cauliflower. This is cooking on a medium-high heat, and while it cooks, it will just absorb all of that olive oil, getting in all that additional fat. So I made a hole in the middle of the cauliflower rice, and I put in an additional tablespoon of olive oil and a tablespoon of garlic, chopped garlic. I want this garlic to kind of cook separately and open up on its own, so that way this rice takes in all of that flavor. So I'm just going to allow that to kind of saute on its own. And then in another frying pan, I've got about another 2 tablespoons of olive oil. This is a smaller frying pan. Again, it's on medium heat, and I'm just going to put the shrimp in it and allow that to cook. It will take about 7 minutes in total for shrimp of this size to cook, and so I kind of just let that go, stirring it as I need to. So I stirred in the garlic, brought the heat down to low, and then added in the 4 ounces of cheese and allowed that to melt. Once that cheese had melted, I plated the rice. Again, this makes 2 servings, and so I just put half on my plate, half on my husband's plate, and then I just split the shrimp between the 2 plates as well, making sure that when I put the shrimp down that we were both getting some of that olive oil that the shrimp had cooked in, because it has a lot of flavor with all of those seasonings coming off of the shrimp as it was cooking. And it's also a great way to get some additional fat in. So in total, this is about 4.5 net carbs, a good deal of fat depending on how you kind of plate it up. And yeah, just a very easy, low carb but high fat meal. The macros on this will kind of differ depending on what types of cheeses you use, and if you decide to have maybe more shrimp than what I made here, or if you decide to use different seasonings. But with the cauliflower rice and the seasonings, it comes in at about 4.5 net carbs, so very easy to make and very tasty. After the meal, I did cut up some chocolate bark that I had made earlier in the day. This is so tasty, and I can do a recipe video on this chocolate bark if you want me to, but very easy to make. Takes about a half an hour in total to make a very delicious chocolate treat on keto. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!